Well, here's my project I've been working on. It's a log splitter that's been modified to work as a forge press. Right now I have a flat die and a rounding die. I've got two of each, obviously. I'm just using these as an example of what I have already made. I'm going to run it in. That shows you the action of it. That's the handle that controls it. And there you have it. But I'm not going to do anything with it right yet. First of all, I got to work on this. This is the build you saw last time. I'm going to get it in the sunlight so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to heat it up and even that out a little bit on both sides. And then we'll put it in the press and see what we can do with it. And we'll get back to you. Because I noticed some fine cracking on the sides of that, that's why I've got it back in there. I'm going to be using borax on it, boric acid here, to seal that up and clean them up. And because of that, I've got my flexion brick back on the bottom of this. So I don't have to worry about acid burning holes in the bottom of the forge again. We'll let that soak in and get back in the forge temperature. And even out those sides like I was talking about so I can work it a little bit cleaner and more of a rectangle than it is whatever it is right now. So, I'll be back. So when you're working with boric acid, you have to worry about when you're hitting it, the acid spraying everywhere, so a little bit more than just a t-shirt working. And it's ready, so let's go pull it out. Hit it like this. I don't have this in view, I'm sorry. This gets the hammer on one side and the anvil on the other, so really both sides get straightened out at once. Provided I actually have it nice and flat. Well, that's the scale here. Notice I'm not wailing on it, I'm going for more accuracy. Since I don't do this every day of my life, I'm not a pro at it. Let's get this back in there. Let's see if I can adjust the camera so you can actually see the anvil. That's the part of it that matters. Okay, we'll get back. Well, it's not my first time doing it, but I took out the rounding dies. They're a little too aggressive. Put it in the flats. We're going to give it a whirl. Let me go get my piece of steel and I'll show you what it looks like. Now when it gets done, it gets all the way up close. This piece deflects, and it's weird at this point. I got to figure out how to make an adjustment for that. Let me go get my steel. Here we go, nice and hot, ready to go. Don't want to do it too much, because this will literally crack up on my steel side. For that is all this steel coming in contact with it is colder than it is, of course, so it sucks the heat right out of it real quick. The reason I got the garage door open and the sunlight bothering me and all that stuff is without the garage door being open, the forge burns the oxygen right out of the air. The O2 alarm goes off and says you're going to pass out pretty soon. So I leave it on or open. Sorry. Because my drawing out dies, the round ones, aren't going to work right, they're way too aggressive, I'm going to have to go out and get some 1-inch pipe or something and make it not quite as narrow. I'm going to have to do all the drawing out by hand, and that means me and the hammer. So it's time to get on some gloves and work up a sweat. The good part is once you're done hammering, you got about 3-4 minutes at least until the next round. You get to let the blood start flowing in your arm again. So my plan right now is to go ahead and take it out and hammer with the peen so it stretches the material out both sides, and then every time I do both sides, heat it up again, take it over to my forge press, my log splitter forge press, and flatten it again, and then wash, rinse, and repeat until this gives away, which won't be that much longer. And the other side. Back in the heat. I'm gonna have to fix that rebar. It's gonna break off sooner or later. So this is the peening side of my peening hammer, and you can see how rounded the face of it is on this side. That's to make sure you don't dig in too much with the hammer face and cause hammer marks on whatever you're working on. That's the plan anyway. Usually works. About as well as you'd expect. The harder you whale, the less control you have. So, I'm gonna go hit the forge press. Nothing for you to see. I don't feel like moving the camera again. So after an hour and a half of heating and beating and using the forge press, this is what I wind up with. Not quite a quarter, not quite 3/16, somewhere in the middle. And I can't really measure it too close because it's kind of hot still. But it is 6 inches long, and if you remember, this started off as, it's 20 layers now. 4 pieces that made it, I want to say 5/8 of an inch thick, and 2.5 inches long, and about an inch wide. And it's now, let's find out instead of guessing. 1.25 inches wide and a solid just at 6 inches long. I'm probably going to get about 2 more inches out of that by the time I get it down to 1/8 of an inch thick, or an actual 3/16. That way I can actually have an 1/8 of an inch thick blade at the root. So I got no idea what I'm going to do for what kind of knife I'm going to make out of it yet, but I'm thinking it's going to be either a hidden tang or it's going to be I weld a tang on, because I want a blade that's reasonable in length. Probably going to be an everyday carry kind of knife. Can't see it getting much more than that out of it. We'll see you next time.